Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. We're doing something a little different today. We're literally peeling back the layers of reality to expose the hidden structures governing our world. From trillion-dollar economies and high-stakes geopolitics, all the way down to the luggage you carry onto an airplane, today we're going to make the invisible completely visible. So we're actually going to skip the usual agenda today and just dive straight into this massive paradox. I mean, think about it. Financial giants, sinking nations, everyday electronics. You might think these have absolutely zero overlap, but they are all entirely dictated by unseen rules and power structures you were never meant to see. We're going to connect these dots to show you exactly how global influence and economic control quietly operate in the background of our daily lives. All right, let's get right into Layer 1, Titans of Global Influence. We're starting at the absolute top of the global power pyramid. When we examine a financial heavyweight like BlackRock, we aren't just talking about a really successful company. We're talking about an entity that quietly manages over $10 trillion in global assets. $10 trillion. That's a number that literally outpaces the GDP of almost every single country on Earth, representing a scale of economic control that fundamentally alters how global markets behave. And that staggering amount of wealth, it's not just sitting idle in some giant vault. This influence is intricately woven right into the fabric of daily life. They hold a stake in the technology in your pocket, the healthcare systems you rely on, the energy powering your home, and the real estate you live in. Entities like BlackRock hold unprecedented, quiet leverage over the modern world. They're making decisions that ripple out to all of us, without a single vote ever being cast. Now, shifting focus from financial giants over to nation-states, we can look impartially at a country like Israel to see a totally different kind of unseen structural power. It's a profound geopolitical paradox, really. On one hand, you've got immense regional challenges and deeply rooted, complex conflicts. But on the other hand, there are these unstoppable strategic alliances and vast military momentum. Analyzing this structure objectively reveals how a nation navigates extremely high-stakes political strategy to remain a uniquely formidable geopolitical force, despite the intense pressures surrounding it. Moving on, Layer 1 continued, the continuity of power. So, what actually happens to these massive, highly structured superpower states when their physical center of command is suddenly threatened? Like, imagine a direct attack on the United States White House. This triggers what's known as continuity of government, or COG. Now, as the public, we just see the buildings and the elected officials, right? But the true survival of the state relies entirely on this deeply classified set of procedures designed specifically to outlast any physical destruction. In a real emergency, this highly choreographed dance of survival just takes over instantly. The literal second a threat is confirmed, boom, immediate detection. Next is the rapid evacuation of the executive branch. Then, they relocate to secure, completely undisclosed bunkers. And finally, the immediate transfer of command authority. It's an invisible structure that holds totally firm, even if the physical structure crumbles. Having seen how these vast superpowers protect their land and their leadership, it really begs a profound question. What happens to sovereignty when there's no physical land left to protect? Seriously, what happens when a globally recognized nation just ceases to exist? Which brings us to Layer 2, Paradox of Disappearing Nations. We really need to talk about Tuvalu. It's an entire island country facing the tragic, very physical reality of sinking entirely beneath the rising ocean. We're talking sinking land, displaced citizens, the literal loss of physical borders. But in response, they are building this unprecedented hidden structure, a digital nation. Tuvalu is actually attempting to back up their entire culture, their governance, and their legal sovereignty to the cloud, just to retain their UN voting rights. They are trying to rewrite international law to prove that a nation's power isn't just tied to dirt and rock, but to a structured, shared digital identity. It's absolutely fascinating. Okay, on to our final layer. Layer 3, Hidden Rules of the Skies. This transition from the physical to the intangible takes us right up into the skies. And the mysteries of the sky, well, they certainly aren't new. Back in July 1937, Amelia Earhart departed on her pioneering historical flight. After her final radio contact, massive search efforts yielded absolutely nothing, and she was officially declared lost. Her story endures and fascinates us because it perfectly represents the raw, terrifying unpredictability of the physical world. But aviation learned from its chaotic past. While we might never fully solve the Earhart mystery, today's aviation leaves absolutely nothing to chance. Our modern skies are locked down by rigorous, hidden structures. These hyper-strict physical and chemical rules govern literally every single aspect of flight, right down to the smallest, seemingly harmless items you carry on board with you. Think about those super strict airline restrictions on where you can pack your personal power banks. They aren't arbitrary, and they definitely aren't just there to annoy you. The thing is, lithium-ion batteries are chemically volatile. They are extremely prone to overheating under atmospheric pressure changes. If a fire starts down in the cargo hold, it's completely inaccessible. But up in the cabin, the flight crew can rapidly intervene. So the hidden structure at play here is extreme risk mitigation on a chemical level. Experts actually call this unseen threat thermal runaway, and it happens in seconds. First, an internal battery short circuit causes rapid temperature spikes. That triggers an unstoppable chemical chain reaction, which ends in sudden fire ignition. This totally invisible process can turn a common travel accessory into a catastrophic hazard if it's packed away in the inaccessible belly of a plane. So, zooming back out from the microchemistry of a battery to the macro level of global superpowers, the connections become incredibly clear. The hidden forces that dictate the strict rules of a tiny battery in your suitcase, they are part of the exact same unseen fabric governing international politics, trillions in economic control, and the continuity of vanishing borders. It's a hidden framework that is constantly keeping global chaos at bay. Which leaves us with this final kind of provocative thought to take away from today's explainer. If the most powerful structures shaping our world, the financial giants, the emergency protocols, the chemical laws of the sky, are entirely invisible to us, who is really in control of our future? If you can't see the forces shaping your reality, how can you ever prepare for what comes next? Keep questioning what's beneath the surface, guys, and I'll see you in the next explainer.